Namaha Siddhebhyo. Jai Jinendra, seekers of truth. Svanubhuti Jain is back. And today we are delving into the core of your being, exploring the captivating question, who am I? Most of us will believe by default that the wonderful person that I see in the mirror is me. I am the body that I see, feel and own. This exactly is me, and that sums up my identity. Well, let us think deeply here. If the body is me, the living thing with Chaitanya or consciousness, then it should always know, feel, express happiness or sadness. Here you might say that obviously the eyes see, the nose smells, and the same eyes and nose cry when sad and smile when happy. So why are we doubting what's obvious? Here's the twist. If the body knows and sees and reacts, then during cremation, why can't the eye still see that the body is going to be burnt? Then why doesn't it scream? If knowing is the nature of the body, then it should prevail in the body in all forms. But evidently, that is not the case. Something has changed in the body when we say this person is dead. What changed? The conscious entity within, the one that sees and knows, has departed. You know what? The body has always been a mass of matter. Even when it seemed alive, the entity who had consciousness was totally separate and independent from the material body. Now, you may argue that the knowing entity doesn't feel separate from the body to you. You feel one with the body. If we believe that, then we must believe that the body has consciousness. Then it should also imply that a fat body or a healthy body should know more, while a thin or a diseased one should know less, right? But that is not the case. It is evident that a person's knowledge has no direct relation with his body mass, health, or age for that matter. The body was capable of consciousness. How does a person in a coma, whose body is totally unresponsive, still know? This means knowledge or consciousness neither equals the body nor originates from the same. Also, we can see that consciousness has no dependency on the body. It is distinct from the body, distinct from the senses, and we do not need the body to know. I'm sure you're wondering how. Has it ever happened to you that your eyes are wide open and images reflect clearly in your eyes, but you're mentally seeing the face of your beloved who is probably thousands of kilometers away? Right now also it might be possible that your ears are hearing what I am saying, but you're not listening. You are elsewhere. It might also happen a lot of times that there are no ghosts in front of your eyes, but still you feel you have seen or experienced it. That is because it was never the eyes that were seeing, but the one seeing was the conscious entity. That is you, that is me, that is the consciousness, Chaitanya. You might again argue that the soul can only recollect what it already witnessed once, but then how do you think inventions take place? How did anyone invent an aeroplane or a smartphone which never existed earlier? It is the knowledge that conceives things that are never known through senses. It creates imagery and then comes up with things that never existed before. How would it be possible if it only knew things that senses can detect? So, what is the significance of the senses? Well, the eyes may have aided in your data gathering process, like a window. A window aids us in seeing outside, but the window doesn't see. Similarly, the eye may reflect but does not know what I saw, a tree or a house. The conscious entity present inside knows. And if that conscious entity is engaged somewhere else, like in the example of the phone or hearing this we just heard, even the open eyes are not able to register anything. Open ears can't register anything. Similarly, if one is deeply engrossed in some particular activity, he does not acknowledge even his name being called out sometimes. So what happened to his ears? The ears may hear the sound falling on the eardrums, but it is the soul that listens. The same applies to all the senses, and this proves that the body, made up of all the senses, is a mere material instrument, just like the thermometer reflects the fever, but it neither knows the temperature nor feels the heat. It is just an instrument like the body or the senses. It just gathers data and reflects. The body does not know. And if the body does not know, then it is obvious that I am not the body, because we already proved this a while back that consciousness or Chaitanya is my innate nature. So, our question still persists. Who am I? Well, the simple answer is I am the soul. You may call it Jeev, you may call it Aatma. I occupy the body, but I am distinct and separate from it. Chaitanya or consciousness is my identity, and it is I, the soul, who craves happiness. Now you may argue that if the soul really does exist, why does it not show up? Why is it not giving me signs? Why is it not visible to us? Why can I hear it? And even if it is invisible, at least we should be able to smell it somewhere, feel it, taste it, hear it. How can we believe that something exists if I can't witness it? So, first decide. Soul does not exist, or are you trying to imply that you are not capable of witnessing it? Okay, let me ask another basic question. Who is the one aware of this fact, or who is the one who decides, or who is the one who is capable of knowing and sensing and decision making, who thought that you are not the soul or you cannot know? This is the job of consciousness. The one aware of the fact that you don't exist is the one conscious of the fact, and that is consciousness. This quality of being aware, this marks my existence. Non-living things like tables, chairs, they lack this kind of consciousness. They are not aware of anything. They can't know, they can't sense. Being aware of the fact that we know is feeling the soul. We cannot see the soul because sensing the soul is beyond the realm of our physical senses. The soul does not have that property that your eyes can catch, your ears can catch, your senses can comprehend. However sharp the senses are, they have their limitations. Eyes can only see whatever can be seen. Ears can only hear whatever can be heard, and so on. In fact, every sense can aid comprehension of only objects that fall under their individual scope, not even that which falls under other senses scope. So they cannot detect the soul. Say, how did you decide the existence of air? As you can't see it, smell it or hear it, but you feel it on your skin. You can breathe. You can feel it in your respiration, and that itself is the proof that air exists. Similarly, the activity of knowing in itself is feeling the soul. You can think or know that the soul does not exist, but the one who thinks or knows this is the soul. Otherwise, where is this continuous cognition happening? Isn't it a matter of utter surprise that the soul itself is doubting if it really exists? Think about it. Questioning the existence of the soul is like a man claiming his wife is a widow. Isn't this self-contradictory? Sensing the opposite, I do not exist, even this is proof enough that the soul exists. Processing, knowledge, awareness, and decision making. Hence, we conclude that the body and its sensory organs are mere instruments through which the soul knows, but they themselves completely lack consciousness. They are like the hardware, which is nothing without the software of a conscious entity inside it. And this conscious entity, the one who knows at all times, irrespective of the condition of the body or the senses, is the soul. That is what is you. The point we are trying to derive here is that you, the soul, are a powerhouse of knowledge. Your knowledge is much more powerful than you have realized. You are not dependent on the sensory organs to know. Doesn't this realization excite you to know more about yourself? Some may still feel that if I already am that soul, so be it. Big deal. Why should I care about knowing the soul? How strange. You don't want to know about yourself? Whereas knowing your true identity is the only key to a fulfilling life. Else all your efforts are in vain. How? Okay, let me elaborate. Aren't all your pursuits aimed at the body that you identify with and its associations? Aren't you totally invested in something that won't last and is more importantly not you? Everything beginning from the association with this body that you call your birth, to spending the initial years of your life to get educated, from learning to earn to making a fortune, from raising a family to retiring. It's all about the body or things related to it. You spent your entire existence worrying about things that didn't even relate to you, the soul, and hence they never made you happy. All the efforts that you take to nurture and maintain this mortal body and its associations are in utter vain. All the wealth, possessions, family members, name, fame that you have earned here, even the body, none of them will come with you. They will be left here, and you, the soul, will start in another form afresh. Some may still believe that while consciousness is separate from the body, how do we believe that this consciousness travels to another life and not perishes with this body? And if death is the end, I have to do things that make me happy. Even if only temporarily, that's fine. I have one life and I want to make the most of it. Who knows what happens post-death? I may just become extinct. But do you really believe that you, the soul, can die? Like completely wiped out from this universe? Counter this. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can never be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. Don't you feel even you are a bundle of energy and very different from matter? While we may see a drone flying with the energy stored in its battery, however, when it comes to a bird, where does it get its energy from? Who has charged it? The bird takes to the skies because it is alive and fueled by the energy of life. So, like all the other forms of energy, this life energy or I can never be created nor destroyed. You can never be created nor destroyed. We just change forms. Who is this you or I? The soul, the conscious element. You exist in the body currently, but do not perish with it. You remain eternal. This is your true nature, eternal consciousness. Then what about the commencement and termination point that we witness day in and day out? We see so many things starting and ending. How can anything in this world be endless if that is the case? Well, the one that changes is the form, not existence. Just as after death, bodies transform into ashes. The molecules continue to exist in ashes or fossils or soil, wherever. Similarly, you, the soul, move on to another life form. Neither the molecules of matter are destroyed, nor your life existence. Is there any other scientific evidence to prove life after death? Well, yes, so many. Some people remember their past lives. You must have heard about it. With the help of a simple Google search, we can find multiple cases where people have recalled situations from their previous births, and sometimes they have even solved murder mysteries by telling the police about their killers from the previous birth. How did they do that? It is because the conscious element or the knower did not die with the body. It simply went into another body or assumed another life form. Some people are born with ingenious talents. The destiny of every individual is carved so differently. Just think deeply. Don't these past life imprints prove that we existed before this life? And if we existed before birth, so will we exist even after death. There is no possible means to create a conscious entity. There are no raw materials, mantras, or any magic that can create a living soul. Hence, we conclude that it exists eternally and travels from one body to another till the soul attains liberation from this cycle of birth and death. Now, this makes it very important that in this life, we work towards things that are beneficial to us, the soul, and hence we should prioritize. So, till now we have established the soul an eternal entity, and the body, a temporary material form. These are two separate things. The soul cannot die, it just goes from one form to another. My true identity is the soul, because that is what I am eternally. To be happy, I need to know the true nature of the soul or my actual self. Next question that arises here is that if consciousness and happiness are so intrinsic to me, why am I sad in the first place? Why do I have to be reborn again and again and again? Who decides where I will take birth after death? We should throw light on these in the next video.